God.
Oh, they are killing it tonight.
It's like, man, I've said it before. We've got the baddest band of all podcasts in Southeast Michigan.
Definitely. Welcome to Dinner in Hell, the podcast where two amateur historians talk about the atrocious underbelly of history. I'm your host, Brad the Impaler, and with me, as always, the legendary Ron Maiden.
Hello, and thank you, Brad. It's great to be here. I love doing the show. I look forward to it. Today, we're going to talk about a story about a person in American history who was up to some awful acts around the 1800s.
Tonight, we're going to be talking about Madame Marie LaLaurie. Well, first of all, the studio audience is looking great, aren't they?
Yeah.
All of you,
They look like they're on edge.
take a look underneath your chairs.
Oh, shit.
You've got your very own cat of nine tails. Look at all those leather straps that you can beat someone with at the end of each. Oh, look at that one's got some glass in it.
Man, you don't have to hit things with it. Please stop hitting the person.
That one's got some steel spikes. Oh, they're turning on each other. Uh-oh. This is getting ugly.
We're going to have to bring a mop in there now. Everything under control?
All right, our security staff's got it handled. All right, so the woman we're talking about today, Marie LaLaurie, was born 1780 in Louisiana as Marie Delphine McCarty. She was of Irish descent.
You don't say. How did you come up with that?
I read it on Wikipedia.
The Irish descent part, man. I heard she liked to drink lager.
Yeah, or cider.
Yeah.
Magners.
What is that other shit? Mead? Is that Irish?
I think of it as more English, but I don't know for sure.
So tell me about Marie LaLaurie as an adult.
Well, she grew up, kind of a socialite. She was prominent within the social circles around New Orleans, so she had a pretty privileged life, pretty privileged upbringing. And in 1800, Mademoiselle McCarty married her first husband, high-ranking Spanish royal officer Don Ramon de Lopez y Angulo, who, after the American acquisition of Louisiana in 1804, was a diplomat from Spain.
Hey, we're probably going to have to bring up his name a couple more times. You want to just call him like Lopez?
Lopez works.
Don Ramon de Lopez y Angulo. Like, please, audience, you got to understand. Yeah,
Spanish names can get a little lengthy.
Yeah, we're just going to cut it down to Don Ramon. I don't know. What do you want to call him?
Don Ramon.
Cool. Don Ramon.
Now I'm going to think of him like Razor. In my mind, now he's got Razor Ramon's face. He's going to have a toothpick the whole time.
He's got a foreign object in his wristband. Bastard. This little iron piece that he gouges the eye with in the corner.
Yeah, so he ran into a little trouble with the Spanish crown, didn't he?
I don't know what the crime was.
Yeah, I don't know either. But anyway, he evidently ran afoul of the King of Spain.
Let's just say this. Our research department researched her, not him. Okay?
Yeah, so this is tangential.
Yeah, we'll get all the details on LaLaurie. But as far as Don Ramon goes, Don Ramon, LaLaurie, they were heading to Spain.
Yeah, so he got recalled.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got recalled back to Spain, and they were on their way there.
Separate boats.
Mm-hmm.
And Marie LaLaurie, she was cruising to Spain to plead to the Spanish king?
Yeah.
They still have a king, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
To plead to him in person, be like, can you please, like, what do you call it? Pardon him.
Yeah.
Of his whatever act he did.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, no problem. Fine. I appreciate your passion. I appreciate you coming all this way in person. You could have just sent me a freaking letter, but you didn't. You took the freaking boat trip, and I appreciate that. So yeah. Long story short, Don Don Ramon is traveling separately. He's in Havana. He passes away. He's dead. So
yeah,
he's
he
dead.
didn't make it.
He's dead even though his sentence is pardoned. What? And guess what? No one knows exactly how he was killed or how he died. I don't know if he was killed or not. I'm not saying
You're trying to inject a little extra drama. Nobody knows. It wasn't really recorded how he died. What, he kicked the bucket down in Havana.
Mysteriously died in Havana.
Yeah, but the Marie had a daughter on her way back
with Don Ramon.
Yeah, and I won't get too much into the names, but I got to give you this one because it's ludicrously long. So this little girl's name was Marie Borgia Delphine Lopez y Angula de la Candelaria.
Jesus Christ.
That was your fucking name?
Like, get in the house.
Good luck. Good luck trying to fill out like a passport form. There ain't enough boxes for that nonsense. What are you going to do when you take your SATs? Yeah, so eventually, with Don Ramon not coming, they decided to head back to New Orleans.
Nolans, I like to call it.
Yep, so that's where they went back to after a while. And eventually, she married again 4 years later, a lawyer, a legislator, and slave trader by the name of Jean Blanc.
Jean Blanc.
Now, he was only around for 8 years. He died in 1816, but the couple had 4 children together.
Was it 4 daughters? So she's been nothing but having daughters. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Jean Blanc died, and no one else knows about how he died as well.
Yeah.
He mysteriously died too. Now, Marie LaLaurie was over in Europe when her husband died in Havana.
Mm-hmm.
But
so she's probably clear on that one.
Could have arranged something. Never know. Like a poisoning or like a assassin.
As you'll see, she's clearly capable of it.
Yeah, she's twisted. So she has the second husband. They have 4 daughters.
Mm-hmm.
He dies. She has this mansion that they lived in.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep. She wasn't done marrying yet either. But it was a while before she met her third husband. In 1825, she got married to a man much younger than her. She's going cougar here. And the physician, or also he's been said to be a dentist, one of the two, Leonard Louis Nicolas LaLaurie. That's when she finally gets her name that's been put down in the evil books of history. It seems like he was a pretty busy guy, and she was largely left to her own devices. In the early 1830s, she had built a massive 3-story mansion with attached slave quarters in New Orleans. And it was built and managed in her name, not her husband's, which was peculiar.
1800s.
Mm-hmm.
That's odd.
Yeah, so I wonder if they might have had a sort of strange relationship.
Not only 1800s, but 1800 was. Oh, that was when she married the first husband.
Yeah, this is in the 1830s.
So
probably like 1831. Around then. Yeah, and she still, ever since her birth, she's been very prominent in New Orleans society. I mean, at this house, the new house that she built, she held weekly parties. Prominent, powerful friends,
entertaining guests.
A judge was a regular guest at these parties.
Yeah.
Now,
she had slaves and servants.
Yeah, she did have slaves and servants, and there are some conflicting reports about how she treated them, but most of the reports purport her to be a very cruel mistress.
I mean, all the reports are bad, but conflicting on how bad.
Yeah, she did take pains to appear to not be a shitty God, it's almost fucked up that you have to say like that she was a bad slave owner. Like, it seems like that should go without saying, but man, the way the rest of the town reacted to how she behaved and how she treated her slaves, out of all of the bad slave owners, she was apparently extremely bad.
She was so bad that she hid how bad she was.
Yeah.
That's bad. Like, other people,
she went out of her way to pretend like she was taking care of the health of her slaves, and she treated other people's slaves in public really well. But as you'll see, not her own was not fun.
Yeah, like when she would visit friend's house, and she'd be super nice to their slaves too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all slave owners are bad. She's worse. Yeah, she was very much about propriety and appearances. Being a prominent member of society, having to socialize with everybody else. But boy, oh boy, was she a nightmare behind closed doors.
When you said conflicting reports, is because one of the things she did was she would abuse her slaves. Mm-hmm. And what she would do is the slaves that she abused, she would just like abuse them like forever. Like they would never they were abused in the attic, and they were they never came down. No one ever saw that abused slave, so no one knew about the abuse. She hid it. She had slaves and servants around her house for the guests and shit, but because those weren't the ones that went upstairs yet.
And there were some reports that she had manumitted some slaves. She had set a couple of slaves free.
That was to help her image. Mm-hmm. But she'll let one or two go. Ones that she probably never like punished or abused.
But one of her neighbors, who had pretty intimate experience with the LaLaurie household, described her slaves as singularly haggard and wretched. Which means, out of all the bad treatment that slaves got, hers stood out as having been treated especially badly.
She beat her daughter's asses that would go and bring the slaves food. That they were like, she was like torturing.
Yeah.
They would like bring them food, like, help us.
Yeah, she was probably like a total sadist psychopath.
Yeah.
Probably the best example of how just awful she was is one of her regular attendants was sick, so she couldn't perform her duties. So a 12-year-old girl, a slave, was filling in. And when she was brushing LaLaurie's hair, she hit a snag, which, I mean, happens when hair's getting brushed. It's probably a very common occurrence.
Yeah.
She snapped just at this and grabbed a whip and started chasing her around. Her name was Leah.
Are we talking like the whips that we gave out to the audience today, the souvenir whips?
I don't think so.
Okay. Different kind, like a bull whip?
Yeah.
Like Indiana. We walk from here.
Or God knows what.
I imagine a bull whip. Dr. Jones. No time for love. Shorty, pull up the Cadillac.
So just for hitting a snag in her hair, she grabs the whip and starts wailing on Leah. And
Leah's like, what the hell? I'm filling in. Was this how you guys do shit here?
Yeah. So she's trying to get away, and she's running all around the house from her. Madame LaLaurie is chasing her around.
Fucking Leah's on one side of the table, LaLaurie's on the other side, like running, right to left, like.
But she can't juke her. She can't get any separation.
And she's like whipping the whole time in the air, like whoosh, like whipping at anything, trying to get her.
Yeah.
LaLaurie was probably good with the whip.
She probably had a fuck ton of practice.
She probably like snap a cigar out of your mouth. Like, whoosh.
Yeah. So what ended up happening, though, is she chased her through the house and up onto the roof.
Yeah.
Where rather than face the anger and wrath of LaLaurie, Leah jumped off the house committing suicide.
Yeah, her motionless body lay on the lawn below.
Yeah, they tried to drag her inside, but the neighbors had seen already, so this was out in the open. She couldn't hide this one. I'm assuming they could hear the nightmare going on too.
Yeah.
Fucking psycho bitch screaming God knows what, chasing this poor girl around.
Like, if you could go back in time and like take someone out from history, but you know, if you do like someone really big like Hitler, like the world in the future could be totally altered. But what if you just like went back and you're like, LaLaurie slice throat in her sleep? Like, do you think it would fuck up today's thing? Well,
no, I don't think it would have that big of an impact.
She did free the 2 slaves, so this would have freed all the slaves.
Or they would have just become the property of someone else.
Like, new families would have spawned.
I'd still kill baby Hitler, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, little baby
stomp
Hitler.
his little baby face right in.
Jesus. I mean, couldn't you wait till he's like 13-year-old Hitler when he's like a little fucking bratty 13-year-old, then
Why?
kill him?
It'd be
like,
easier to kill a baby.
I know, but it's a baby. Like, you know. You know what you should do is not kill baby Hitler and kill baby Hitler's mom or whoever was an asshole to him. Like, whoever created that fucking guy raised him. Like, just take baby Hitler and give him to like Gandhi or whatever, like freaking, you know, some peaceful person.
Nah, I'd definitely still kill baby Hitler.
You have a passion for killing babies. I've always saw that in you.
I have a passion for killing Hitlers.
Oh, okay. Okay. What if it was like just some other? Could you imagine if your name was Hitler because you were like from his family? Like,
well, you know what the rest of his family did, right?
What?
He had like a few nephews and shit like that, and a few of them ended up in America afterwards, but they all pledged to never have any children.
Oh.
Yeah, the rest of his family voluntarily shut down the bloodline.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I do regret. One thing I will regret is that I do think the name Adolf is cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's done.
That's
no
cool.
more Adolfs. You can't name your kid Adolf.
Yeah. Adolf McVeigh.
Double whammy.
So, we're talking about a house that had slave quarters. There's an attic that was locked, and she would keep slaves in there that stepped out of line or like didn't do things exactly how she liked it, like promptness.
Yeah, there was a normal slave quarters, and then there was the attic.
The attic, and reports from people that were her servants would say that once you go in this attic, you don't come out again.
Yeah. So. This is where things get real gruesome. But all of this came to light in the public after a fire occurred on April 10th of 1834. A fire started in the kitchen.
How?
Well, the cook for the family, a slave who was kept chained by the ankle to the stove all of the time.
Yeah.
She started it in an effort to possibly get herself out of the situation, or just in a desperate attempt to bring the situation to light, to let people know what was going on. Imagine how bad it would have to be for you to start a fire when you are chained up.
Well, she said, well, the story is that she was chained, yeah, but the whole thing was like she was going in the attic. Like, for what she did something to where like LaLaurie was like, you're going in the attic, like you're next. So she's like cooking and like, oh shit, I'm going to the attic tonight. Like tonight I'm going in the attic, like after I cook dinner probably. So she's like, I ain't going in no fucking attic. You're all going with me. I'm burning this place down. You got a gas stove here.
How much do you think she spit in that food?
How much? Oh my god, dog shit in their tacos.
Oh yeah, you could really cause some damage.
They were in New Orleans, so we're talking like etouffee,
beignets,
crawfish. We're talking Creole.
You ever been down there? Those beignets are good as fuck.
No, I haven't.
I was disappointed with the food, but I might not be the best judge because I'm not a big seafood guy.
I like Creole from Fishbones in Detroit. And Next time you're at Fishbones, you mention Dinner in Hell, and you'll get a discount on your meal.
Tell them Dinner in Hell sent you, and they'll ask you, what's that?
And I like their gumbo, but I know if I go down to Nolans, their gumbo is going to be like authentic, and I'm going to be like, what the fuck is all this chunks of shit in my gumbo? I like the way Fishbones makes it. Sweet.
Yeah, the whole time when I was waiting to go down there, everyone was all like, oh, the food. I think the best fucking meal I had was at IHOP.
You didn't like suck the crawfish out of its shell and fucking eat its tail and then suck its head out?
I don't really like crawfish.
Yeah.
I don't like lobster. They look like fucking bugs, and it's weird to eat them.
I like my seafood fried.
Yeah.
Or blackened.
I do like shrimp, though. Shrimp look like bugs, too.
They are bugs.
Yeah, but I don't have to look at its fucking eyeballs while I'm eating it.
Yeah, it's like crickets of the sea. It's like the grasshopper belly. Yeah. I wonder if you boiled grasshopper, if you'd have meat like a shrimp. No, because
I don't think so. Well, because the shrimp, well, maybe. I don't know. Next time I hear some chirping, I'll go outside, grab one, throw it in a pot, tell you what happens.
Boil it up, So the cook is like, I'm burning this place down. Hopefully the whole fucking house burns down.
Yeah, so either it was a suicide attempt or she was just desperately trying to get some escape from this fucking nightmare house.
So the townspeople come to the rescue. The people in the area come in the fire department, whatever is going on down there in 1830 something.
Mm-hmm. So the neighbors
buckets of water.
Yeah, the neighbors show up looking to help because they were being neighborly.
Yeah.
And some of them started to wonder, like, hey, why aren't the slaves helping get all of your valuable shit out of the house?
Slaves are like sitting in a corner with their arms folded, like, I ain't doing shit.
No, they didn't see them anywhere.
Oh yeah,
and then they were like, "Hey, let us into the slave quarters so we can help." And the LaLauries were like, "Yeah, you're not going in there." They withheld the key from them. So in a good move, this is Dinner in Hell. Props to the bystanders. They just busted the door down
like freaking Jack in The Shining.
Yeah,
they're like, "We're coming to save you. Don't worry, every one of you's safe now."
Yeah, so
they bust the door down. They discover like 7 or 9 people.
Yes, 7. I think seven slaves. They were chained up. They were mutilated. They had their arms stretched, their legs stretched, like to the point of maiming, like to where the limbs were useless. Some of them were in spiked collars.
Yeah, to where they had to keep their head one way.
Yeah, so they couldn't move their head at all.
Yeah, that spiked collar. I wanted to ask you about that. Okay, so like, where do you freaking get that? Okay, where do you get that?
Well, probably you'd have a blacksmith make it.
But wasn't he asking me what it's for?
I don't know. I don't know about the business practices.
Like, I just need this for some torture shit I'm doing. It's just a little bit dabbling in some torture shit. It's no big deal.
Yeah, me and the good Dr. LaLaurie are going to get a little freaky.
Yeah. I need like 6 of them. Sharp too. But,
yeah, man, who knows? Or maybe they had some sort of application for animals that they were adapting.
Yeah. So they wouldn't itch or something.
Yeah, I know, but what at this point though, how much worse is it to make a spiked collar for human beings when you're already making a collar for human beings? Is it really that much? If you're gonna make a collar to put on a human being, an iron collar, is it really that much worse if you make a spiked one?
I'm thinking the spikes are spiking into the skin.
Yeah,
so it's not comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I thought you were picturing them on the outside like a dog collar spikes.
Oh, like so they'd look really cool.
Yeah, like we're fucking man o' war.
No, it's definitely on the inside, so they couldn't move their heads. Fucking sick, man. It's I can't believe people ever did this to other people. It's mind shattering.
You're missing out on one other detail of what they discovered. They discovered that she was doing some kind of messed up medical experiments. They found one with a frickin'. You ready for this?
Yeah, lay this one on me.
Okay, you guys want to lower the volume for 3 seconds if you don't want to hear this. But they found one with a hole in their skull. She's alive with a stick in it, and she was like scrambling her brain with the stick, dude. And the person was alive.
Christ.
The person was alive.
You're like Madame Marie Delphine Dahmer.
Jesus Christ. And welcome back.
Fucking
this segment
sick,
is
awful woman.
And this segment is brought to you by Fishbones Creole Cooking, located in Southeast Michigan.
If you want us to bleep that out, don't forget to pay us.
Yeah, we blackmail people into paying us for ads. We do the ad, and if they don't pay, we leave it. So, you know how to contact us, Fishbones.
Yeah, and on top of that, all of the slaves were incredibly emaciated, their skin and bones. And they said that they'd been chained up in there for months. Yeah, okay, so the bystanders rush in and ostensibly rescue the slaves. At least they're out of her control. So they wound up being taken to the local jail for their recovery.
Yeah, wasn't they there on like display?
Yeah, they were available for public viewing.
Yeah, you guys want to come down and check out these slaves? You got to check this out. They're mutilated. You got to see this.
And the slaves were in such bad shape that 2 of them didn't survive more than a week.
One's got a drumstick in her head.
Yeah, and two of them died before... Jesus Christ. 2 of them died before they even got to the jail.
Yeah.
And
lucky them.
4,000 Louisianans came to gawk at them.
After they like arrested her of her crimes or whatever, or charged her of her crimes, they fined her $300 for that, for what she did, improper abuse of slaves.
And
like
they stripped her of her ownership of the slaves. They took the slaves away from her.
And they sold them, right?
Yeah. They sold them to her family members.
Yes.
Who then immediately sold them back to her.
Hey.
But, of course, after all of this news went full gossip and got around town, she didn't have long. She wasn't long for New Orleans after that, because the people of New Orleans, again, we got to give some dinner and hell props to the people of New Orleans. They formed a mob.
Hell yeah.
They formed a mob. They went to the LaLaurie house and they destroyed it. They just tore the house to pieces.
Picture pitchforks, torches, sickles.
Yeah, by the time law enforcement even showed up to the scene, the LaLaurie house had been reduced to basically nothing but walls. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well,
I would have enjoyed being a part of that mob.
If you look up LaLaurie's name, like on Wikipedia, there's a photo of the house that she had.
It's still there.
Yeah, I looked it up too on Google Maps. I wanted to get like the street view of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 1400 Rue Royale.
Mm-hmm.
If you Google that in New Orleans, you'll see the house.
Yeah, so you could go take a gander at it if you'd like, if you're down in New Orleans. All of our New Orleans listeners.
Yeah, all to our other Louisiana Twitter followers out there, thanks for tuning in. I know it's cool to hear your own home state getting referenced.
Yeah, getting shouted out. Well, we didn't say much about her husband, and he may not have had much directly to do with it, but he was definitely still a piece of shit. Because when the newspaper tried to interview him about it,
is the dentist?
Yeah,
or the physician,
or physician, or dentist, one of the two. But when the local paper tried to interview him about it, the entirety of his comments were, "People should mind their own business and not tell us how to treat our property." Yeah, so he might not have been the prime aggressor here, but he was definitely just a pile of dog shit.
God damn it. He's probably like the one doing the experiments. He's the medical field guy.
Maybe, but
LaLaurie's over here whipping him and poking him, burning him and stuff. Like, the doctor's over here tooling around and doing one's skull.
Yeah, maybe. Not much about him's written, though. He doesn't have his own Wikipedia page.
He's over here poking around in his skull, trying to see what's doing.
Jesus, what a sick fucks these people were. Yeah, so she eventually fled via sea
Yeah.
to Alabama.
By sea. By seaway?
Yeah, by
Seaward?
way of sea.
She went seaward.
Yeah, she sailed to
Seaward.
Alabama.
She was there. She went to Mobile, Alabama.
She was there for about a week.
And then she went up seaward northbound to New York City. Newark.
Newark?
And then she cruised to where? France.
Yeah, and there's not much available about what her life was like after she took off, but there are records from Paris stating that she died there on December 7th of 1849, escaping justice, which sucks, but at least she's dead, so we've all got one up on her.
Yeah, like, sorry this one doesn't have a happy ending, and by happy ending, like, person gets, like...
A comeuppance. Yeah, there's no comeuppance here, which is a little disappointing, but...
When you watch Game of Thrones and King Joffrey gets killed, and it's like, this is how he gets killed with this weak-ass poisoning instead of, like, being, like, burned or something, like...
Yeah, you wanted him to get, like, flayed or some shit.
So this woman, LaLaurie, lived on her days somewhere.
Yeah, and with her family. Fucking God.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Freaking our show seems to have many different levels, like heat levels of evilness and like darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Like we get real extreme on the torture and the graphic, and like that's like level 10. But then we had like a chill one, like Pompeii was kind of like a natural disaster. We're like, I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like the awfulness.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that was near the top of our body count lists.
Pompeii.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Battle of Cannae.
Yeah, I think that was the number one.
Like as far as like unbelievable atrociousness, Battle of Cannae and Pompeii would be our safest. And then, but how do you compare like scaphism, where you were put in a box with honey and milk, and they let the bugs live in you?
I forgot to mention this. I can't believe I forgot to mention this. But you bring up scaphism. So when they broke into the attic, they did see a slave that had been covered in honey.
Yeah.
And left to the ants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ants from around, like the attic or around the area, like the yard. It was ants.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't believe I forgot to mention that. But when you brought up scaphism, it reminded me.
But yeah, like, but how would you rank this story? Because here we have people that are enslaved, and not only are they enslaved, like they're like forced to be there, and they're being treated like this.
Just the inclusion of slavery, I'd have to say I rate it pretty high on that heat scale.
And what do you think of the fact that New Orleans had a code for slave keeping? Like they had standards for slave keeping. She was charged with the crimes of abusing the slaves. Like that was her charge.
Yeah, what a living nightmare that was.
They had like it's like you gotta get your dog shots and register with the city. Like it's like slaves are just like freaking. You owned them, their property.
Yeah, the chattel slavery of humans has got to be like the worst thing ever, right?
Yeah. Can you think of another episode where we discuss slaves?
Probably came up in the Battle of Cannae. Definitely came up in the Gladiators episode.
That's what I was thinking. Well, the friggin'...
I don't know where to rate it, man. I'd say somewhere between...
This episode?
Tapatio and Cholula.
I would say this is more of like a Serrano chili pepper heat scale compared to like the Scotch Bonnet. I would say this is more Serrano. I'm just kidding. No, this is pretty hot of an episode.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
Scoville units.
1,200 Scovilles.
It's my Scoville unit.
Yeah, do you want to throw a number on it? I can't, man.
I don't know.
Yeah, so our New Orleans listeners got a little hometown flavor tonight. If you want us to talk about stories from where you live,
tweet us your hometown name.
Yeah, you could tweet us at dinnerandhellpod. You could email us at dinnerandhellpodcast@gmail.com. We are at dinnerandhell.com. We're on Facebook, SoundCloud, YouTube. And please don't forget to rate and subscribe on iTunes. Fucking 5 stars or we're coming for you.
Yeah, when you listen to us on SoundCloud, log in so we can say hi to you.
Yeah, so we know where you are.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to us. Thanks for taking the time and playing our episodes online. It's great to see.
Thanks to the few remaining members of the studio audience.
Yeah. I'm glad about a handful of you left. Cool.
It's the strongest of all. Yeah. You'll be back next week.
So, Dinner and Hell Band is just saying, let's get on with it.
Yeah, come on, boys. Let's do it.
Song's almost over, guys. Let's rap. They give me the rap signal.
Well, thank you, Ron.
Thanks, Brad.
Good night.